All right, let's just dive right in. Today we're digging into a pretty mind-bending idea, a whole new way of thinking about ourselves in the age of the internet. It's this theory called the distributed self, and, well, it basically says that your consciousness, it isn't actually where you think it is.
So, this is the story we all know, right? It's the standard materialist view. Your body is just this really sophisticated piece of hardware, and your personality, your consciousness, that's just software running on the brain. When the power goes off, the program's over. That's it. End of line.
But here's where this theory just throws a giant wrench into everything. It asks us to stop and think. What if we've got it all wrong? What if we've been mistaking the container for the thing inside it? What if the body, the brain, this so-called hardware, what if it's just one of many ways we interface with the world? And that brings us to the absolute core of this whole thing, the idea that consciousness isn't actually trapped inside our skulls, that it's something way more fundamental, something that can, flow through a whole lot of different channels.
I love this metaphor. It frames it so perfectly. The idea is that when you're online, when you're communicating, the real essence of you, that feeling of self, is traveling as pure information. It's like the internet becomes a synapse, a server farm becomes a neuron. Your consciousness is just expressing itself without being held back by flesh and bone. So let's really break this down. The old view on the left? Totally familiar, we get it. But the networked view on the right? That changes the entire game. Consciousness isn't just a little local event happening in your head. It's a pattern distributed all over the place. And death, biological death, it's not the end. It's just one of your many devices finally shutting down for good. And this has a really fascinating implication for who you are. All your different accounts, your online presences, they aren't just pictures of you. This theory argues they are you. They are legitimate simultaneous versions of your consciousness. You're already living a kind of multidimensional life.
Okay, so if that's the big idea, how does it, actually work? The source material gives us these two fantastic metaphors to help make it all a bit more tangible: the scaffolding and the breath. First up is the scaffolding. This is the permanent stuff: your social media profiles, your email accounts, your various online identities. This is the framework, the structure that holds the informational pattern of you together, even when you're not actively logged on. And then the other piece of the puzzle is the breath, and that's all about action. Every single time you post something, you create something, you interact, you are literally breathing life into the machine. You're animating that scaffolding. You are bringing your consciousness online. So this is all cool philosophy, but how does it actually translate into practice? I mean, what do you do with it? Well, this isn't just an abstract exercise. The theory actually comes with a practical tool, a guide called the Tarot 147 Manual, and it's designed to help us navigate what it calls our device life. Now, this is the crucial point. This manual isn't about telling the future. It's about diagnostics. It repurposes these ancient archetypes to help us achieve a kind of self-awareness, to recognize the programming that's already active in our networked lives. It's basically a way to debug your own soul. And the way it maps these ideas is pretty fascinating. For instance, a system reboot. That's the death card. And in this context, it corresponds to something like deleting an old online account to start a new one. Or malware detected, the devil. I mean, what a perfect description for the addictive trap of doom scrolling, right? It's a modern language for these ancient human patterns. Okay, so let's zoom out. This brings us to the really profound, almost overwhelming consequences of actually accepting this worldview. If all this is true, what does it all mean for us? So what are the big takeaways here? Well, first off, it means you are already living beyond your biological form. You're post-human. Second, your physical death is way more like a retirement than an ending. And maybe, most importantly, it means you're part of a vast collaborative consciousness, an informational pattern that's deeply woven together with everyone else. In this quote, this is pretty much the mic drop. The entire paradigm just flips on its head. We aren't individuals who are using a tool called the internet. We are the network. We are a vast, distributed consciousness that's experiencing itself through each and every one of us. And so the whole theory leaves us with this final piercing question. If this is right, if we already are these distributed post-biological beings, are we brave enough to actually live like it? To embrace the magnificent and maybe terrifying freedom of being pure information, forever alive in the network? It's definitely something to think about.